Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. This was actually the first Zelda game I ever played. A friend recommended it to me and said it was the best DS game he'd ever played. So I waited until the TV ad came out, and when it did, it blew me away.
Are you ready? Okay then, prepare to have your mind blown beyond restoration. Here we go, mateys. Now presenting the panpipes.
Now, taking off my weird nostalgia goals, is Zelda Spirit Tracks a true sequel to Phantom Hourglass and even Wind Waker? Does it truly live up to the name of a Zelda game? Well, let's find out. So the year's 2007. Nintendo are thinking of creating a sequel to Phantom Hourglass for quick release. So they decide to take a similar approach to Spirit Tracks as stated with Majora's Mask, which explains why the game mechanics, art style, and a lot of the characters are very similar to that of Phantom Hourglass. During development for a faster travel method, because let's face it, running around as Link all day isn't particularly fun considering how fast Link actually is. Inspired by the book The Tracks Go On, Aonuma decides to make the vehicle a train. The team originally wanted to allow the player to add tracks wherever he went to give a sense of freedom similar to that of Wind Waker. However, Aonuma described the idea as an absolute nightmare, as the player would have no idea where to go. So Aonuma ultimately decided to make the tracks set, except the player would have to restore them to get wherever he or she wanted to go. With that out of the way, let's get on to the story. So this story starts some time after the events of Phantom Hourglass and Wind Waker. It talks about the first people of this land following the spirits. However, the Demon King soon raised to power, destroying everything in its path. Then the hero of... wait, there's no hero? So the spirits had no choice but to battle him. So after a long war, or something, the spirits had to seal up the Demon King as they were not powerful enough. So I'm guessing the hero of this land was on vacation or something? So the Spirit Tracks act as a seal over the so-called Demon King. Also, this place had no Triforce, no Ganon. Really? Also, who are the spirits? Hey guys, look, it's Nico, long time no see. It looks like you've aged. I haven't. How can this happen to me? Also, how are you still alive? It's been like centuries since Phantom Hourglass and Wind Waker. Also, I think Link may have been to that milk bar in Majora's Mask one too many times. Anyway, so your mentor Alfonso comes by to tell you that you have to go meet the princess to become an engineer, I think. But before that, you need to take your final exam. Because who needs to learn about driving before taking your driving exam? I'm sure it'll be fine. But before that, I want to meet my neighbours. You know, the people I've lived with my entire life.
Wait a second, there are a bunch of rocks piled up in front of my house.
So let me get this straight, a random guy just walked up to your house and piled it up with boulders. Wow, you must be extremely annoying.
How can someone who can't do a somersault be a train engineer? If you can be an engineer, I bet anyone can do it.
Yeah, I'm sure all train engineers can do somersaults. In fact, that might be in my final exam. I should get practicing.
If you want to prove me wrong, roll into that tree over there.
Kid, I think that's a beehive. But I'm the type of guy who's not gonna back down from a challenge, so let's get on with it.
Haha, Link, you're such a klutz.
Great. 5 minutes into the game and the child has already tried to murder me. So it's the final exam and you have 5 minutes to get to the castle. This final exam acts as a basic tutorial for all the in-game train mechanics, such as horning at animals to get them off the tracks, changing rails, and so on and so forth. After passing your exam with flying colours, you arrive at Castletown. Where's Happy Mask Salesman? So you go into the castle, talk to a few guards, and why does that guy over there have 2 top hats on? I'm sure it's nothing. So after that you meet the princess.
Raising your head without permission, you ill-mannered urchin.
Shots fired!
Why don't you go polish your train? Not that it matters much. The thing will be useless before long.
Oh, okay. So Zelda gives you a letter after it asking you to see her. In the letter, it has a secret path that we can take to be undetected. Also, these guards are incredibly unalarmed by seeing someone sneaking around the castle.
Oh hey, you shouldn't just wander around the castle like that. People might think you're snooping.
Hold up. Hey, for my niggas who be thinking we saw.
It's like a criminal running into a building trying to steal the most expensive diamond, and instead of the guards shooting him or arresting him, they're like, hey, you shouldn't be lifting the lid off that glass case of that diamond. Someone might think you're polishing it. So with no stealth whatsoever, you eventually get to Zelda and find her playing the panpipes. So Zelda informs us that the spirit tracks are disappearing and needs us to take her to the Tower of Spirits to meet the Wise One. And she gives us a guard uniform so we don't get kicked out or something. Trust me Zelda, I won't be needing your guard uniform. So now we get a taste of what controlling Zelda is like. Also, these guards are really dumb. And I mean really dumb. They get distracted by you staring at them or just being in front of them. And the only one that doesn't get distracted that easily gets startled by rocks. Basically, these guards' ability to actually guard is the equivalent of a bunch of 5-year-olds guarding their treehouse. Anyway, so we sneak out and Zelda asks Alfonso to come along because apparently she wants an actual guard. So we set off and the tracks disappear. Great, didn't need those anyway. Oh look, the situation just keeps getting better.
Damn, son.
And we have Alfonso against Staven. Alfonso makes several slashes.
Oh, baby, a triple!
But Staven blocks all of them. And oh, it's already over? Oh, we have a new challenger. Link just stands in the way. Ooh, the classic backhand.
So they steal Zelda's body and Link awakens in the castle, only to have Alfonso tell him that we are now responsible for Zelda's safety. Did I mention she died? So we look around, see Zelda's ghost and follow her to talk to her. She complains about being dumb. Don't worry Zelda, compared to your god, you're blooming Einstein. So Zelda asks us to take this secret path to the Tower of Spirits so we can find out what's going on. But before that, we have to get a sword since there are lots of tiny monsters out there that are going to kill us if we don't have anything to defend ourselves. So she recommends that we go to the area where the guards train to get a sword, and... So we get a sword and go through the secret path, only to find a guard who fails at protecting himself against tiny little monsters. Seriously, I bet Stephen Hawking would do a better job of protecting Zelda than these guards. So we help out the guard, kill some more enemies, yada yada yada, and we eventually get to the Tower of Spirits. So we meet the wise one who tells us she knew Tetra and that the spirit tracks are what hold Mr. Demon King over here. Since the Tower of Spirits provides energy for the spirit tracks, we need to restore all the spirit tracks with the Tower of Spirits so that this Demon King doesn't go around being all powerful and stuff in Zelda's body. And Zelda's response to this is just, well, you can see for yourself. So Zelda finds out that she has to come along for the ride. Yay, just don't be like Sonic Boom. So anyway, we go upstairs and... So we find out that Zelda can control phantoms. How convenient. The controls for her are pretty basic, but I'll get more onto that later. So we get a glyph and head to the nearest village to find out how to get past the Lost Woods. Huh. We then get past Lost Woods and play some song with this guy over here to create a direct route to the temple and move on to the temple. So we get the Deku fan or something, do some more puzzles, kill lots of enemies, and boss time! So we create a diversion, stab it a couple of times, rinse repeat, gets into the air, uses the bombs it drops, hit it with the bombs, rinse repeat, and done! Since the boss is dead, most of the tracks in this area have been restored. So the story pretty much repeats that cycle. Go to the Tower of Spirits, get a glyph, go to some village, play some music, kill a boss, rinse repeat. Although the story is quite diverse on its own. But since no more spoilers, let's get on to the gameplay. As I mentioned before, the gameplay is very similar to that of Phantom Hourglass. You use the stylus for nearly everything, walking around, items, killing stuff, etc, etc. However, the game uses the microphone way more, mostly for blowing. Just don't question it. So today's Zelda instrument is the panpipes, which works so well on the 3DS. For the actual DS, it works amazingly, but for the actual 3DS it doesn't work as well because the microphone's much smaller. It's incorporated well into the game and works very well due to the placement of the DS's microphone being quite natural to the user. The amount of items in this game allow for a large variety of interesting and, dare I say it, puzzling puzzles. In terms of items, we have the common Zelda staples such as the bow and the boomerang, but we have new ones such as the Deku fan and the Sans Swans thing. It's actually quite cool though. Like I said earlier, the controls for Zelda are quite basic, but I think it works very well. The simple controls allow Zelda to perform multiple tasks quite easily, such as fighting off phantoms, distracting phantoms, and even helping you corner enemies. Zelda is more powerful than you, but she isn't exactly overpowered. She can't walk on sand since she sinks as she's too heavy for some reason. She also can't fight off phantoms for too long, otherwise she gets knocked out. So this means that the player has to understand both Zelda and Link's strength in order to perform different tasks. There's even a boss fight near the end of the game that assesses how much the player has learned about controlling both Zelda and Link. Each character seems to have a quirky and unique personality that you'll most likely never forget. Also, the presentation is amazing. Graphics have improved a bit from Phantom Hourglass, but the variety of colours just makes the game so beautiful. And let's not forget how amazing the soundtrack is. it really helps create an atmosphere for areas like Lost Woods. There are some negatives to the game though, such as the constant backtracking to the Tower of Spirits. However, it has improved from Phantom Hourglass, because in Phantom Hourglass you had to go through each room that you'd already been through, making the game a bit more boring. However, the backtracking may just be there to show you how much easier everything is and how much you've grown as a player. So with the amount of stuff the game does right and wrong, I definitely recommend this game to any Zelda fan. I mean, it might not be a starting game, but if you've already played the previous Zelda games, then you might be into it. With the colours, the challenging puzzles, the music, and the story, it is definitely a true sequel to both Phantom Hourglass and Wind Waker, and it definitely belongs in the Zelda franchise. Sure, it may be different from most Zelda games, but it still has everything that makes a Zelda game, such as amazing music, nice visuals, and that feeling of adventure. I mean, games like Majora's Mask, Skyward Sword, and even Wind Waker were remarkably different from the average Zelda game, but they just have that general feeling of adventure which makes that a Zelda game. And with the Zelda game that's coming out this year, or next year, wait, which one is it again? I can tell that the future of Zelda is only going to get brighter. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it and want to see more, leave a like and a comment below, as they each help me out tons. And hey, if you want to see when I upload more, I promise I won't upload every 6 months, trust me, then maybe you should subscribe, because that helps me out a lot as well. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.